Homeownership, a dream? Just a dream? Or is it a reality?
Moving forward with the DekkerTeam. Moving forward together with the DekkerTeam.
Hi, this is Yetta Dekker, and today I have an extra special guest, Silas, all the way from Kenya to join us on the Inside Track. So we welcome you to another episode where we're going to talk about ideas, techniques, thoughts, tools that we all need, we all deserve. You, I, everyone, to turn our house into our home where our families thrive and where we can just live the best life possible. So Silas, as I think about how tough it was for Ken and I to get started in buying our first home, that it's not necessarily a given, that it takes a lot for us. And then I recognize that for some, it's even harder than it was for us to get started. And it's getting harder and harder because the interest rates are going up, right? In Canada, they're good and things are getting harder because the prices are going up. If the interest rates aren't up, the prices are up. And so today on today's show, we're going to learn what it takes for somebody that is an immigrant to Canada to actually buy their first home. And you're going to help us explore that. So Silas, what does it take for someone to own their first home when they haven't always lived here? How is that different?
Thank you, Yetta, for bringing me on board this show. And when we talk about home ownership, moving from Kenya and coming into Canada was a bit of a challenge.
Just a bit?
Very huge challenge. Because when I first moved here, rent was so high. And the quick thought was, I can't do this forever. Mm-hmm. And so right away, I started looking into what are the possibilities of owning a home. And the deposit that is needed, securing a mortgage, it looked elusive. But I believe if you work hard on it, you achieve it.
Right. And you came to Canada with a university degree. You were well educated. Yes. You had a great position already in Kenya, and you relocated to Canada to be with
my wife.
Okay.
Yes.
To be with your wife in Canada.
Yes.
And so your schooling and your job that you had there, did that assure you an amazing job in Canada?
Not necessarily. And that's I guess, another story. Coming into Canada as a microbiologist, and it wasn't easy to transition as I expected. So, as a microbiologist, my first job was actually with McDonald's, downtown street, Rideau Center, and that was a tough time. And so, when you talk about earning the minimum wage and having this huge rent to pay, and thinking about owning a home. But I moved very fast. I want to thank Canada that it is a land of opportunities. If you know your steps, then you are able to walk it quite fast.
So what steps did you work so that you could qualify for a mortgage? Because clearly on minimum wage working at McDonald's, you're not going to qualify for a mortgage.
The first thing was to look for the right job, which I transitioned pretty fast. I think within the first 6 months, my credentials were translated into Canadian credentials and approved. And I was able to get a job which was well paying. And then I started planning towards my home ownership. But that was also, it needed a serious determination and hard work.
Right.
What I want to emphasize here is that home ownership is not just something you say, I want to own a home and you get it. You work towards it. Saving the money to be able to have the first deposit.
The down payment.
Right. Was not easy because the down payment, by then when I bought a house for $250,000.
Right.
And the down payment, 10% was $25,000.
And as a new immigrant, could you qualify for a 5% down, or did you have to come up with 10% down?
I think I had to do 10% down.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
then you started saving.
Yes.
So your first step was get a job.
Get a good job.
Get a job that allowed you to start saving money.
Yes.
And then your next step was saving some money.
Yes. And then the third step was to be able to get a mortgage agent who would get you mortgage with the right interest rate.
Right. So you looked for a mortgage specialist instead of just going to your local bank.
No.
Right. So that your mortgage specialist could shop the best rate possible and the best term possible.
Yes. Yes.
For you.
For yes.
Given your situation.
That was the case.
Okay.
And then the third step was to be able to get an agent, a realtor who would be able to...
The fourth step.
Yeah.
We're on the fourth step, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the fourth step is getting a realtor that could work with you, understanding what your parameters were, and work with the mortgage specialist.
Yes. And within the ability of what you are able to secure in terms of finances.
Right. So somebody would listen to what you actually had to say.
Yes.
Rather than follow a different agenda.
It is very important to work with people who understand your heart. They would know you, understand your ability and capacity, so that they work in your interest rather than in their interest. And I thank God I worked with great people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah.
So when you bought your first house, what did it feel like to own a home?
Oh, that was so huge. That was relieving to know that now I wasn't just paying rent, the mortgage that I was paying, which was more or less my rent, was not just going away. It was my investment. Every month I paid my mortgage. I knew it was my investment towards my home ownership. And I think that was the most, one of my achievements that I would count I did achieve.
That was huge for you.
That was very huge for me.
And for your wife?
And not just for me, for as a family.
Yeah.
When you first own a home, it's a great achievement that you enjoy both. And there's a relief because now you start building equity. Yes, you start building into your wealth. Yeah.
Which is so much nicer than building into somebody else's wealth.
It is so great because rent, as you pay it, you'll never come back to it. It is never an investment to you. It's an investment in somebody else's pocket.
Right. So when you're paying rent, the investment, it's an investment for someone else.
It's a liability to you, an investment to the landlord.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. In an upcoming segment, we're going to explore what it looks like to own real estate in Canada versus potentially Kenya or other places in the world. Home really is where the heart is. And we're so grateful that at the DekkerTeam, we get to grow together and build wealth through real estate.
Moving forward with the DekkerTeam. Moving forward.